So, welcome to the Melodic Rock blog, all our listeners, viewers, and readers. Today we have a real treat for you. We're talking to Michael Andersen, who is the lead singer of Withering Surface. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much, and thank you for doing this interview with me.
Absolutely. This is a real big thing. You've reunited.
No, yeah, we did, and it's a pretty big deal for us now, especially during the last few weeks where the reviews are starting to get in on the album. And yesterday we went out with the news that we are number 3 in the Danish charts, the sales charts here, and getting lots of good response. Number 1 in Art Shock magazine in Holland, together with Lamb of Gods, etc., etc., etc. And then we, of course, like most of the other bands you talk to, were supposed to play live. But yeah, that's but hopefully that will happen soon.
Yeah. So I saw that you had another tour planned for 2021. That's still on, right?
Right now, nobody knows about anything. Currently, I'm talking with booking agents all around Europe, about the situation, and when you talk with German booking agencies right now, they do not believe that anything will happen for the rest of the year. In Sweden, obviously, you tried something else. In Denmark, we are trying something else now, slowly opening up again, but we don't know. Now it's summer vacation, and people will travel all over Europe where they're allowed to travel, and go to the beach, go to wherever, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. But hopefully next year we will be touring with Withering Surface. We are looking very much forward to that.
Yeah, I hope I can see you next year. I really hope so, because I love the album.
Thank you.
I really love the album. I've been listening to it a lot today just to get in the mood,
Great. Good to hear.
You're doing this duet with your daughter?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it, because it sounds really, I feel like it's a sad song. And wasn't it hard doing it with your daughter?
I wouldn't say it was a challenge, but on the first 2 albums we did with Withering Surface, we recorded in Sweden at Studio Fredman with Fredrik Nordström. And on the first album, back then, I was 21 and I thought I could do everything. But in one song, I realized I couldn't. And there was a trainee in the studio, a young girl, and she did the vocals on the song. And the same happened on the second album. I think it was, I don't remember the correct connection. I think it was an ex-girlfriend of Fredrik or something who did some vocals on a song. So we had those 2 songs from our first 2 albums featuring female vocals. And when Alan, the main composer of Withering Surface, sent this song to me and the other guys from the band, he said, "It looks like we have a ballad again. I'm not sure exactly what to do." And I did the same thing as when I was 21. I thought I could do everything on my own, but when a song structure is quite naked, as a song like this, you need something else. And then I started thinking about female singers, started thinking about Danish singers, famous female singers, and then I just listened to what was going on next door. Right now, where I'm sitting is in my my home office, and my daughter, she's having her room over there, and she likes to sing a lot and play the piano, and it just felt natural to ask her. And yeah, it's a pretty sad song, and it's it's metal we're playing, but the whole theme is actually perfect, because this Saturday she's moving away from home. So so that's what it's all about. It's pretty basic human stuff. Have your only daughter, 19, just became a student. Now she's moving away from home. Yeah.
I get that it was perfect song for you to do together, and when it's released at the same time as she's moving, that's perfect timing, right?
It is, and last week we actually were played in national Danish radio with this song as well, and it hasn't been added to any playlist on Spotify, but despite that, I think it's already pretty well received with a lot of listens. So it's we were supposed to do a video for the song on Sunday, but since she's moving away this week, we're not going to do it anyway.
But when I read about this reunion and this album, I read that you were going back to the basics a lot from the first two albums. Was that something that you planned, or did it come naturally?
It came very natural. When I started talking with the guys, with Alan, the guitar player and main composer of the band, and Jacob, the drummer, it was quite clear that we didn't want to go back to where we ended the band with that lineup. Not that there's nothing wrong with those people. We're still friends with them, but and some of us playing in other bands with them, but the sort of music, the direction we went in wasn't the right one for us at that time, and when we didn't want to be a tribute band, but since we almost had the original lineup except for Kasper, who's now in Volbeat, then it felt natural to go back to the roots but still having a sound that is 2020. We didn't want to try to capture the sound of 1998.
Well, it says that you're the founders of Danish Melodeath. How do you feel about that?
It's you always have to call your band or your blog something. So that was like when we talked about it, what is this? And it was like, hey, let's call us, because our promoter, he was like, the godfathers of, and I was like, no, we're not the godfathers of melodic Danish metal, but we were the first band to start playing this sort of music in Denmark back then. And you need some sort of label, so that's the label. It's still the same inspiration we have as when we started up back then. I remember when I started up the band in 1994, and Alan, he came. I lived at my parents back then, 19 again, just about to move away from home, and introduced him to some music back then that I was very much into, and he was very much into. He's a guitar player, so he was more into the more guitar-oriented stuff like Megadeth and Dream Theater, that sort of music. And I introduced him to Sentenced from Finland, and Amorphis from Finland, and Swedish bands like Dark Tranquillity and At the Gates and early In Flames stuff. And plus, we also went to the UK and looked at My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost. So it's always been the melodic thing that's been in focus. And for some reason we're being compared to Creator on this album. I'm not sure. Do you know why?
I have no idea, actually. But I really like the sound of this. It takes me back to 98, 95, around those years.
Yeah.
But looking back now, since you can't tour right now, could you tell us some of your fondest memories from the time when you could tour back in the day?
It's there were obviously, when you're that age and you there was a lot of alcohol involved, a lot of stupid stuff, and I always when I tell young bands, I'm just happy back then that you didn't have YouTube. You couldn't film things with your phone, because seeing when some bigger bands, they fail, and you see it on YouTube, some of the two old sleaze rock bands, and they was it the singer from Rat or something who was so drunk on stage. It's when you're 21, it's sort of funny and okay, but when you're that age, 55, being drunk on stage, like no, granddad, go home, but we had some great experiences. We We toured in Scandinavia with Dimmu Borgir and An Old Man's Child, and toured the UK with Arch Enemy and Opeth, and played Wacken, played Roskilde. You know, that was some of the bigger memories, and probably a lot of stuff I forgot. Lots of festivals, lots of shows, and we also tried playing in front of 2 people. And after reuniting the band, you think back and then you post stuff on Facebook, and then people start to interact. And one funny memory is also the first show we played in Sweden back in 1996, when we played with Gehenna and Inverted and Ronnie Ripper. I don't know if you're familiar with Gehenna. Okay, yeah. Headbangers Against Disco and all that stuff. And now I picked up my relationship with Ronnie Ripper again. It's not like nothing was wrong, but now I'm talking with him again. Him like he remembers that gig as well, because it was in a youth club and blah 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 blah. So that many funny memories during the years, and we're dying to get back and play live, no doubt about it.
In Sweden, there are a lot of bands doing streamed shows right now. Mm-hmm. They're doing really produced shows, actually, and selling tickets. Yeah. Is that something you've been thinking about?
No, we actually were offered to do a few of those. There was a big one a few weeks ago in Copenhagen, in connection with Copenhagen, that was supposed to happen. So there were 2 cool guys who did a festival called Slay at Home, 2-day festival. We were offered to play there, but since it would be our first show in 15 years, we were like, it's not going to be our first show to play a streaming concert, because when you play a live stream, you're so naked, just like I am right now. No, it's not live, no. but you know what I mean? Anything can go wrong. So you need to be a well-rehearsed machinery, or a debut bands that really want to show off to do that. So it wasn't for us.
No, I get that. So if you would compare the songs on this album, is there any song that you feel is more you than the others?
Some songs have a deeper meaning, obviously, and the songs that I feel have commercial approach. Of course, we're talking death metal, but the song with my daughter obviously is very close to me. I'll Soon Be Gone, and then the singles we did. I believe that the title song is a strong song. It's sort of epic, and it's long, and lots of atmosphere going on. And our first single, Leaves in the Stream, as well, is probably one of the most melodic ones on the album, with a big chorus. And then our second single, Alone, where we sort of show that we are still capable of playing fast and aggressive, was one of the first songs written. And then at some point, we're probably gonna do something with the song called Room 417, which is also very chorus-based, melodic. Those are probably the songs on the albums that means the most to me.
Yeah. So now that you're not doing anything, are you writing more music, perhaps?
We definitely are in the beginning phase of writing more music now. Right now, with the whole Corona thing, it's both good and bad, because it was bad for us because we got those shows canceled. We were supposed to play Copenhagen a few weeks ago. This next weekend we were supposed to play Metal Magic Festival in Jutland, and other things coming up. That was bad. But the good thing about it is that we released the album in a period where not too many other releases are being released, and we had the proper time to promote it, to do interviews and follow up, and so nothing has been rushed. We had a good long timeline with the album. So I spoke with Alan a few days ago, and he's slowly starting to write new music. So it's definitely something we're going to continue doing, because it's a lot of fun, and you should never say anything like this. I remember when we took a break, Alan, he said he would never, do something with this band again. But it wasn't because we weren't friends. It was just, being fed up. But right now I'm like, I'm probably gonna continue with this, the next 10, 20 years, as long as I'm capable of actually, singing. And as long as you're keeping healthy and all that, then you can always take a break, for half a year, and then, pick it up again. And today it's easier maintaining your social media, etc. Back when we took a break, there was no social media. So it was like we had a website and, canceled the subscription for the website, and then we were gone. Today, it's different.
Back in the days, you just got lost in the ether when you quit or took a break.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you noticed any changes now with all these streaming services like Spotify and iTunes and so forth? Have you felt like people are more prone to buying the electronic digital music, or do they still want the physical CDs?
It depends on the markets. I embraced Spotify when it arrived, and have always seen it as a great promotional tool to promote your band. I tell people that I work with and tell the other guys from the band that we should maintain Spotify the same way we maintain our Facebook site. And you cannot stop progress. It's just how it is. Some of those artists that in recent years who, when they're being interviewed, they hate streaming and all that. And obviously it's the way that artists are being paid and all that is probably not right, and blah 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 blah. But it's a great tool, and I believe as long as you're making interesting music, you will get the streams that you deserve to get, and plus the people that like the sort of music that we're doing will still go out and buy the vinyl. Then it's important to make products that actually look good and sound good, to color vinyls, gatefold, blah 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 blah, and tour and sell it. And so I think right now the music business from a professional side of everything and as a musician is in a good place compared to, let's say, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when everybody were like, are we ever going to get paid, and how do we survive? It couldn't get any worse than it was back then. And now the whole streaming thing is also happening in big markets like China and Germany. Germany has been behind for many years, and now it's starting to pick up there as well. So, that's the future. So I can't see what's going to be, the alternative for streaming the next 10 years. So might as well, embrace it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Well, I feel like it's a good combo right now, because people collect vinyls today, but they don't listen to them. They listen to the digital copies, and they collect the vinyls. So I feel like it's a good way to market the music, and people buy the records because they want to support the bands.
Exactly. And of course, I'm in my mid 40s. I just turned 45, and you look like a girl who's only 22. So you probably don't have the proper amount of money to, because you're a young student. But a lot of people that is our target group are people at a similar age, from, let's say, the early 30s until the late 50s. That's probably the people who appreciate the music that we're doing, and similar artists. And most of those people, they are adults, and they have an okay salary to go out and see a show and buy the actual T-shirt. And buy the vinyl, you know, just to support, as you say. Then they have the vinyl at home, you know, as a coffee table book showcasing it. But they have, you know, they have a proper income. Back, you know, in the days, the people that went to see the sort of music that we played were the same age as we were. So, you know, they weren't even 20 years old, and they were poor, you know. So it's different for metal now as well, that, you know, when you see big festivals like Sweden Rock Festival, Copenhagen, Denmark, Wacken, you know, people buy stuff.
Yeah. So I have this thing that everyone I interview needs to recommend 3 albums to our readers. What should they listen to?
Oh, let me open my Spotify playlist now. It's always it's a strange thing to look back and forth, but I think I'm always picking up one album that's important to listen to, and that's the debut album from Black Sabbath. It's still one of the best albums, and it's amazing that it was done in such a short period of time. The cover artwork is amazing. I guess most of the people watching this have listened to this album. And then, you know, I'm a sucker for you know, for melodic hard rock, and I really like that sort of music as well. So everybody has listened to Hysteria with Def Leppard, of course. But then let's see here when we move to my Spotify playlist and see Michael Summer 2020, what's in here, what I appreciate to listen to. Okay, this is where you take a break. Let's see here. Oh, it's, you know, I'm such a music nerd, so one album that I listened to quite a lot the last month is the American band Tyrant, and their album called Hereafter. That's you know, it's not an amazing album, but, you know, just, you know, I read a review in, maybe it was Sweden Rock Magazine or Scream Magazine from Norway, and thought, you know, that's the sort of music for Michael, and it definitely was old school metal. And we can continue. The new Sorcerer album is great as well. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
There's a lot of good music.
There is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and to our readers, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but good talking to you as well, and have a great evening.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Take
All
care.
Right. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.